Using a mist of synthetic sweat, the corrosion test exposes strings to elements mimicking a human finger. Over time, excess remains strong, while other strings corrode and become damaged. Testing complete.
Whoa! Hey, this is John Bollinger with Premier Guitar. I'm at the Brooklyn Bowl, and I'm with Butch Walker.
Hi, man.
Butch, man, thanks so much for being with us today.
Yeah, glad to be here. Glad to be here.
Man, you're a really inspiring guy. Amazing guitar player, great producer, great songwriter, great artist in your own right. I mean,
Thanks.
What a run, man.
The lucky guy, I guess.
Well, I mean, and a really talented guy and a hard-working guy. Because it's amazing how you started. You're just, you're a guitar player. When you moved from Rome to LA,
yeah, totally.
just a shredding guitar player, and it all kind of blossomed from there.
Yeah, I don't have near the skills I have at 52 that I had at 18. At 18, I was definitely like, Ibanez RG550s up here and sweep picking and stuff.
Oh God, I know.
Oh yeah, I was into it.
I've seen it, and it's
everybody
amazing.
learns to run before they can walk. So
right.
And I did, and when I moved to LA, it was like, oh my God, everybody out here can play with their penises better than I can play with my hands. So I was like, I gotta learn how to write a song.
Yeah.
So like every guy out there on every corner was like a master guitar player. So I kind of slowed down a little bit and started working on chords and melodies and songs. And
right.
that kind of led me to this weird road to here.
Yeah, it's like I think first you learn how and then you learn when, right?
That's right. Yeah.
But yeah, man, so great. Love your playing. Let's start with this guitar here.
Let's start with this guitar here, because this is like my baby, my new baby, that I was talking to, Cesar over at Gibson, and I was, it's not like I wasn't fishing for it, but I had, back in 07, I had a wildfire destroy our home and my studio, and everything we owned got obliterated. And at that point in my career, I had started to do, pretty well with producing and writing and recording and everybody. And then my guitar collection had kind of bloomed to about 50 vintage guitars. I won't say nothing crazy, because that's crazy. That's a lot of guitars for me. But every one of them burned in the fire and lost all of them. And, I learned a valuable insurance lesson. I learned a valuable, about keeping that policy up to date, because it was not. And after that, of course, just like clockwork, after like 08, everything just skyrocketed. And one of my favorite guitars I had was a 67 335 cherry red, just like this. This is a 61 reissue, I believe.
Oh, wow.
But it's they did a custom shop job on it, and basically I showed him a picture of it, because this was before like smartphones.
Sure.
So I had to dig up an actual photo that I had scanned in my whatever of it. In my computer, and so I sent it to him, and I was like, man, if you guys have anything remotely like this, I'd love to get one. I'd love to, whatever, I'll buy it, I don't care. And so, because I'd never gotten another 335 after that, ever. Like, I just was too heartbroken after losing that one. Which I probably paid $900 for.
Wow.
Back in the 90s.
Those days are gone.
They're way gone. And so at the time I was like, oh, I just don't know if I want to go. And I couldn't find one that had the same magic.
Yeah.
And I don't know what happened, but they sent me this photo of this guy, and as you can see, it had a stop tail piece on it, but I had a Bigsby on mine, and I wanted a Bigsby on it again, because I really love using the bar. And when I got this, it was the same neck profile.
Wow.
It felt like that guitar. And so I was like, you know how you pick one up and you don't even have to hardly get through one chord. You can just go with the volume off.
Sure.
And go, oh, that's the one. That's it. And that's what I did. And I was like, well, I have a new favorite guitar after playing an A chord.
Oh yeah, that's great.
And
Meant to be.
Meant to be, and I love it. And it sounds great. It plays great. It's so fun to get to just to boogie on. You know, these guitars are good to boogie on.
Oh yeah.
So I do all my hot dogging on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I do a lot of hot dogging
Oh,
and showing
yeah.
off. It's fun. It's all part of the. I get 2 hours a day to act an idiot, and so I'm gonna milk it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's show business.
Yes,
That's great. Now,
yes.
does the 5-speed, does that stay in tune pretty well?
I mean, nothing stays in tune with me very well.
Yeah.
Because I'm
You
kind
dig
of
in pretty deep.
I dig in, I hit hard, and I'm not subtle, and I'm a little bit of an idiot on stage, and it's just physical tick. I can't stop it. So I'm constantly retuning after every song or switching guitars.
Yeah.
So I'm a glutton for punishment when I play a Bigsby.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
sure.
So it's like I just go with it. But actually it's pretty great. I mean, it actually stays in miraculously well.
Huh, that's
I've already
great.
got a really awesome, you'll get a picture of that, but it's a perfect slice right across there that looks like an axe chopped into
Yeah.
it.
Was it a cymbal or?
Cymbal.
There we go.
Because I just went, I was doing this, and his cymbals were waving, and it just came down and caught perfectly flat and sliced my headstock. And I thought, oh God, the neck's broke. And nope, sure enough, it's okay. So,
Great guitar, handles it.
Yeah.
There's more where that came from.
yeah, there's plenty of dangs.
Yeah, plenty of
Dings and
dudes.
stings everywhere.
So other than the Bigsby's, are all stock?
Bigsby's are stock. Yeah,
Okay.
I did. I think I might have replaced a spring on it. I think I might have put a little spongier spring on it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just to give me a little bit more. Just
Oh,
to give
yeah.
it a little bit more play. I like it to be
Sure.
a little more limber
Yeah.
and not as stiff. So some people don't like that, but I do. So maybe it just reminds me of my Floyd Rose days back in the 80s.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Where it's just like bling, 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 you know.
Yeah, sure,
But
sure.
it just feels a little slinkier, which
Yeah.
I like. Yeah, and I play 11s
Okay.
on my
What
string.
what
Ernie
brand?
Ball.
Ernie Ball.
Super Slinkies. Been with them since I don't know, since I probably started playing guitar.
Yeah.
I was buying their strings, and then I was fortunate enough to come up in Atlanta with my buddy Derek, who is the head of artist relations at Ernie Ball now, and we came up. He used to make all of my cassette tapes of our band's demos that we would go sell on the
Really?
road. Yeah, while I was in Atlanta coming up.
Oh,
So
that's great.
So kind of kismet, and
Yeah.
so I've been a trusted Ernie Ball fan for years. So.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Okay, very cool start. What is the next one you go to?
So the next one, let's go to my. We could just do. We'll go.
Yeah, whatever you like.
We'll go. We'll go Fender this time.
Yeah.
And this is a custom shop, kind of a relic. And it might not be in tune. So that's my and scratchino. Sorry, don't have time to change them. This is a really fun guitar I've had for a little while that my guys over at Fender hooked me up with, and again with a Fender Bigsby,
Yeah.
and forgive me, I'm not a guitar guy that knows the exact brands and names of everything, so don't chastise me in the comment section, or do. I'll come after you. That's fine. And then I put these are I forgot to mention also that I'm a big fan of DiMarzio pickups as well, and always
yeah.
have been, and these are DiMarzio Twang Kings
Oh, very
that
cool.
I decided just to put in all my tellies.
Yeah.
And they're consistent, they sound great, they're bright enough, but they're also they're beefy.
Yeah.
And I know that's like not really, you got to pick a side, but actually they have the clarity, and they, when I roll them down, nothing's clear with that on. So that's like with a volume on like 3,
Yeah.
And then when you bring it up, that'll contend.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
If
great.
I'm, and right now it's cool because I've got the wonderful Aaron Lee Tashin gracing our band as a special guest player, and so getting to play with him, 2 guitar players, it's like I don't have to fight it as hard to take up the wall of sound on stage,
Sure.
but this can handle it if I'm just going 1 guitar player with a telly.
Yeah, and you're jumping between guitar and piano and mandolin.
Yeah, and when I'm going
well.
back and forth to all that stuff, it's incredible having Aaron's just like one of the most tasteful guitar players, and it's so fun to listen to out of my right ear over there. But yeah, so this is anyway, this is a really fun guitar. I love it. I painted it, which is absolutely awful.
I love it.
I mean, it's just third grader painting, but I also knew that as much as I scratch them up and beat them up on stage, that I just wanted it to have. It's one of those things where it's good from afar, but far from good. So if you see it from 10 feet out, it looks real cool.
No
if you get up close there, you're like, what child painted that?
That's great. That's
So
great, yeah.
and also that shit'll just scrape right off, you know. So I didn't desecrate it. Not that it's a collectible. It's a you know, it's a relic custom shop, and that's the other thing too, is whenever I got over the loss of 50 vintage guitars in a fire, I was like, okay, I'm not precious anymore.
Right.
I don't give a shit if it speaks to you when you pick it up and play it. I don't care if it's original. I don't care what. Like the last thing I want to do now is walk on stage with a 59. If you gave me a 59 Sunburst, I'd fucking drop it and break it, and then I'd be the idiot that's on the internet viral for dropping and breaking a 59 Les Paul.
Yeah.
So please give me a reissue.
Right.
And in the studio, 9 times out of 10, no one's, well, I'd say 10 times out of 10, nobody knows what they know what they're playing, but when they're listening back, they don't know what they're listening to.
Yeah.
As long as it sounds good and plays good and feels good and is inspiring. I've played plenty of vintage guitars that are dogs and are uninspiring.
Yeah, and you know, sometimes there's like a lot of pressure with like a $250,000 guitar to sound amazing.
Yeah.
And when you're just like an off the rack one, it's like, okay.
No kidding.
Yeah, no pressure.
No, this has been so fun to me, and I've refretted it like twice, because I used to just like, you know, grab people's beers and, you know, slide them down there. I still do. I don't know what I'm talking about, but I would slide, and then I'd get them home and go like, can't bend that string anymore.
Yeah.
Can't, you know. So I've refretted it a few times with just some medium height frets. You know, you got to fight it a little bit.
Sure.
But I don't mind that.
Yeah.
On tellies especially. Tellies they're just made to be dug into. You know, they're expressive little suckers. So it's like, you know, you hit them hard, they hit back hard.
Yeah, right.
You hit them light, they respond very delicately.
Almost kind of like a flat top, you know?
Very much.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it feels a little bit like that.
I love this thing. And I've got probably 5 or 6 tellies, and this one always wins. And I do have a spare I could show you.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Which is, I don't have a pack on it to turn it on, but you can at least see it.
Oh, yeah.
And it sounds, I almost want to say it arguably sounds better than this one, but sounds not everything to me.
Yeah.
Sometimes
right.
Oh, this does have a pack. Sometimes this is more about, you know, I just like no, I don't know if it's in tune. Kinda, yeah. A little out of tune, but like, it's like. Really spanky and really percussive.
Yeah, that's
and
great.
The neck is great on this thing. It just doesn't have the paint job.
Yeah. But other than that.
But no, it's a beautiful guitar.
And same DiMarzio pickups.
Again, a custom shop, like kind of like lightly relicked thing that is getting more relicked by the day. Same thing, Twain Kings in it.
Yeah.
And it just, man, this thing is such a blast to play, and probably my main studio telly that I've used all the time. And everybody comes over and plays it and goes, oh, that's a good one. You know? So, but it's like, it's pretty good, man.
Yeah, it sounds great. Are those bigger frets?
Yes, these are a little spicier, a little bit taller. So it's a little shreddier, you know. It's a little bit more fun to boogie on.
Sure.
They don't catch, you know, and you know, when I bend it, it'll keep going. But it like, you know, it likes to be bent. So this is a fun guitar as well, and I just kind of rotate stuff on the road anyway. I rotate guitars, amps all the time.
Sure.
So you're getting this tour's, you know, stuff.
The stuff you're playing today.
Yes, yes, sir. Let's go back to my last but not least, the Gibson Explorer, which is I pull this out for the last few songs of the set.
Oh, that is a rock and roll machine right there.
It is a rock and roll machine, and it is. I mean, you just turn it on and it's. pretty stupid.
Sounds
It's like
great.
fun. But I've got, oh, this is a fun story too. Is I put a pair of vintage, I should probably tell you what it is first. It's just literally I think it's a 2019. I bought it off a Reverb.
Huh.
And I just had a craving that day. And
I get it.
probably had
I get
a
it.
glass of wine too many and
Sure.
was like, oh, I need an Explorer. Never owned one.
Yeah.
Never. In my entire life, never owned an Explorer. But
You were due.
but idols left and right. From
Oh, yeah.
Alan Collins to like, I mean, you name
Oh,
it,
yeah.
to obviously Billy Gibbons. So many of my heroes played them. I was a big Scorpions fan. I loved Matthias Jabs as
Sure.
well. But I mean, then a lot of the blues cats played them.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and so it was a really cool guitar to see growing up, and goes like, that doesn't look practical. I'll probably never get one of those. Yeah. And every time I ever sat and played one, they always sounded really cool.
Yeah.
Really just like mid-rangey and barky, and
Sure.
and the necks are super fast and fun. So I was like, I've got like the last few songs of the set are just unapologetically rock and roll, like
Yeah.
rock, like
Yeah.
R-A-W-K. And so I bought this for like $800.
God,
And it was like
great.
it was brand new. It didn't have a ding on it. It does now, but what I did is I swapped out the pick guard for a black, which I know is sacrilege, but whatever. This is a 2019, and
Sure.
I don't make the rules. But these pickups, I also went on Reverb, and probably picked those up on a late night binge of like, oh, there's a set of 70s vintage DiMarzio Super Distortions.
Oh, great.
Because, and this is before I actually started, working with DiMarzio, like
Yeah.
on getting pickups and putting them in my guitars and stuff. I just bought them off of Reverb for a couple $100, and it just said 70s DiMarzio Super Distortions, and those can be fun. They can be awful. They can also be really good. It
Sure.
just depends. So I was like, I'll take a gamble. I got them, and when I got them, they were wired weird. They were wired like 3-conductor only. No schematics online anywhere for that. And so they were wired into a guitar by a luthier out in LA or whatever, completely wrong. It
Yeah.
sounded completely wrong. Something was going on with them. I don't know what was going on. It was weird. And so I took them out, and then I called Larry DiMarzio. And Larry and I got on the phone, and because I had texted him a picture of them, and he called me immediately. He goes, man, I think that's some of the first Super Distortion pickups I ever made.
Wow.
He said, I think those are like the first ones, like some of the first ones I ever made, before I had to go 4-conductor wire, because when they were going in all the like the BC Riches and stuff,
Yeah.
with all the toggles and shit everywhere. They wanted them coil tappable, so they wanted to be able to split the coils. So they all went to, am I saying that right? They wanted 4-conductor, so there was 4 wires and a ground. So so he walked me through it with my soldering iron on the phone. He goes, he's like, you're gonna take that red wire and you're gonna take it with the black one and you're gonna tape these off and blah blah blah.
God.
And I put it in there, and you heard it. It sounds.
God, that's
sounds,
great.
so dumb. I love it.
Oh, it's great.
And I love this guitar. It's so fun. So, again, not precious. 2019 Gibson Explorer.
Yeah.
And
With a great story. Okay,
I mean, I throw this thing, 30 feet from the crowd up on the stage and Todd's like, catches it and puts it down.
So far, so good.
Yeah, it was. It was funny. Cesar, who's the, one of the owners of Gibson, was at Pilgrimage Festival not long ago, and I was playing it, and I threw it probably 50 feet, and Todd goes, catches it, and he just texted me, please don't throw the 335. I said, no problem, man, I won't.
Yeah, that's great.
No plans to do that. I was like, so yeah, this is a pretty fun guitar.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
And why don't you tell me about, I know you're playing acoustic on a couple songs, and
Yeah.
mandolin, you want to talk about those as well?
Yeah, sure, they're fun. The Gibson, we'll save the Banjolin for last because it's pretty cool, pretty interesting little critter. This is just a when I was really searching, I was searching for a J45 or whatever, something similar to that.
Yeah.
And basically, Gibson sent me this, and I think this is a J-50, right? Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, isn't
Yeah.
that terrible? You guys are at home are like, you don't even know what you have. But I love this thing. It's like, it's got such a, it's loud, it's boomy, it sounds good, it's got a great beefy neck on it.
In the room too, just the acoustics sounded great. I mean,
and a lot
the
of
pickup in it sounded great.
That's the thing is, okay, I'm done. The thing that's cool about it is the pickup, a lot of times you plug into this, everybody knows this in guitar world, you plug it into a DI, an acoustic DI.
Yeah.
The guitar doesn't sound anything like the guitar.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what the guitar it is. It can be it could be like a fucking 60s Martin or anything.
Sure.
And it's going to sound like plinky, plinky, plink, plink.
Yeah.
It just sounds like
right.
that to me.
Yeah.
And which makes me crazy. So I have this thing called the Tone Dexter pedal.
Oh.
And I really, really love it. It's a wave map thing where you plug a condenser mic into the back of it, and then you plug your guitar from your pickup into that as well, and then you mic it like you would in the studio, and then you profile that guitar specifically to that pickup.
Wow.
And it gets it phase coherent, and then you save it as a preset for a specific guitar. So if I plug another guitar into that setting, it's going to be a little different.
Yeah.
So, but once you do it and you get it actually comes out of the board sounding very woody and mic'd without all the feedback and shit from a microphone in there, because this is just a K&K pickup, I believe.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
It in the front of house, it is dialed in. It sounds great.
I love it, and I
Yeah.
love this guitar. And I record. I mean, my last record, this is most of that.
That's great. And I love that you got this Georgia bluegrassy licks, man.
I'll pull them out every once in a while.
Yeah.
In between all the Southern rock blues scales.
God, that's great.
So yeah, it's a cool guitar, and I really dig it. And like I said, playing it through the Tone Dexter makes a huge difference to me. Also, it's more, I can take almost any acoustic guitar. This one in particular just has a mojo with the pickup. I don't know why.
Sure.
Because that pickup is in some of my other guitars and it's not the same. But I do find that I get the best results using it by mapping it to a preset in that.
Yeah, that is dialed in.
Which ironically, that preset works great for this little booger, which is a 1926 Gibson Banjolin.
God, isn't that great?
And
102 years old.
that's crazy, right?
God, I know.
Finally,
right?
something younger than me. It's cool. But this is a lot of fun because it's a full scale banjo body with a mandolin neck and strung mandolin and tuned mandolin. So it's like, but you get the banjo head and the resonance and that strange honky thing that only a banjo skin covered head and snare drum body almost,
right.
And so it's a passive pickup, just a regular old, piezo bridge thing situation. And it's wired in here. It actually used to have lights inside of it.
Wow.
I took that out because that was a disaster.
That's a little much.
But it came that way.
Huh.
Like, I don't know if it was stock, but the apparatus looked literally like when electricity was created.
Oh,
it was like
great.
so crazy with two little like candelabra bulbs in there to light the head up, but that never got off the ground here with us. So I took that out and we put a jack in the side, and I run that straight through this as well, which I don't think it's on. He's got the monitor board killed, but it basically comes through the PA and sounds really awesome and big through the Tone Dexter.
Yeah, it sounded great, and there were no feedback issues or anything like that. And you were playing fairly loud.
And I got this about over a decade ago when I was doing a band called it was my name and the Butch Walker and the Black Widows.
Okay, yeah.
Pardon the third person speak, but we did a record called The Spade, and it had a song on it called Synthesizers, which was it was like a kind of a Come On Eileen thing. And So I needed this for tour, so I got this and played it on the record, and also I got it for the tour. A friend of mine named Casey found it for me. He found it online, and it might have been actually out of, it was either out of Gruen or it was out of, I don't remember where. One of those guys that's got all the damn guitars.
Sure.
And so it was like $1,000. So
Fantastic.
I gotta have it.
Can you imagine that? I mean, and like just a mandolin, just a new one off the shelf, like mid-level is going to be $1,000.
I know, and just getting it and playing it the first time, I was like, this is the coolest thing ever.
God, man,
I need to learn how to actually play more than 4 chords on it, but that's all I ever did was like I wrote songs on it, and it kind of opened up. You know, sometimes a new sound and a new thing gives you new inspiration for a new song, and that song I'm still playing it today, and this room will all be singing it back at me very loudly tonight with this little guitar on.
How cool! And it's got such a great kind of banjo tone you're hitting those chords.
Yes.
It's somewhere in between, you know?
I know. Yeah, you can't pinpoint it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of fun.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, so that's the guitars. I really don't have that many guitars out. That's what you got.
No,
you know?
that's a reasonable.
I know some people have a lot more, but
yeah, that's reasonable. Now let's talk about your amps.
Yeah, you got it. Right now, and like I said, I do a lot of like rotating on tour, from tour to tour. And right now, because I've got so many great amps that I love, like you know, I mean, I love my Fender amps, I love my Bad Cat amps, I love my Vox amps, I love so many of them. Right now, what really worked with this setup and the set of songs we were playing and made me really happy to receive from Eli was this Two-Rock Bloomfield Drive.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, I love it. I gotta say, it's a leap of faith for me because I've always been an old school, no channel switching, one channel that the amp does the drive.
Yeah.
And a pedal just gives more drive.
Sure.
This is the cleanest amp I've ever ran live. So I'm really relying on pedals for my drive.
Yeah.
If you turn them off, it's really sparkly, chimey, clean.
Yeah.
Barely any breakup at all. That's new for me, actually. I didn't really, but that's because not every amp takes overdrive pedals so well.
Sure.
And this one, you know, I know that's a big thing, is, it takes pedals well, but this really does. And so, you know, I've got it, I'm basically just running it. Nothing's like too outrageous, you know. I'm not clocking anything, really diming anything big at all. It's like, you know, my lead gain is the only thing that might have a little bit. It's like halfway on both lead gains. And
so, are you channel switching or just leaving it in one?
No channel switching at all.
Okay.
None. And it's set. And I'm running it. I am running it on the lead channel.
Yeah.
But the gain is very conservative on it.
Sure.
Like, you know, you can go on the clean channel and crank the gain and get a nice breakup.
Yeah.
Or you can turn it on lead and then just saturate the hell out of it, like a Marshall or whatever. But I kind of like it backed off, so it's like barely breaking up. I just like that really chimey overhead thing that you get, a sparkly sound. And so when I pair it with my pedals, you know, I get all the gain level stages I really could ever need. And as you heard, that was just one pedal providing that gain on like that Explorer and all that.
Yeah.
And the pickups are doing the work.
Yeah.
You know, so
it sounds great.
I love it. Yeah. It's a great amp. And then I've got this little Paul Reed Smith HDR X20. It's a brand new amp, and it's basically kind of like a cross between it's almost like a cross between a JTM 45 and a Plexi 50. And it's but it's a 20 watt amp. Oh. And it actually sounds unbelievable. So I brought that out, and that's kind of like my backup if something were to happen. So, but I've used that in the studio already a few times, and it sounds like a monster. So, and it's fun. It's got a master on it because I know they've got the other one out that's just a non-master.
Yes.
This one has a master on it, so you can actually get some nice gain spank out of it. Running. Go ahead.
Oh, I see. Yeah, that's right where I was going. So you're running into the aux?
Yeah, I'm using the Line 6 wirelesses, which I just pulled those back out of storage because the last time I toured was like 4 years ago.
Right.
You know, shit happened in the last few years, so it's like, so I didn't do anything. But this is these sound great, man. I mean, I've been using them, you know, for the last 2 tours, and I can't tell the difference with a cable at all. And so I dig them, and so I'm running that, and then it's going to the pedals into the amp into the aux, the UA aux, which I'm a massive advocate for.
Now in the studio, you use that quite
I use
a
it 80-90% of the time.
Wow, that's great.
A lot, like, I mean, like annoyingly a lot, because I have amps and cabinets and stuff, and I'll mic them up, and I'll use this and go like, that sounds really good too. And there's a lot of combinations, and it's just fun to do. So I'd say I'm using this as much as I am anything in the studio. But I pulled it out of the studio, and Todd put it all in this nice rack for me, and this thing I have like, you know, 6 presets in it for cabinets and mic combinations and all that. But I've never changed it once, and Joel's never complained, and my guitar buddies that come out go, man, your tune's great out front, and I'm like, okay, cool, I'll keep it. So I don't change it. So it stays on preset 6, which is like a 212 like Alnico, you know, Dumble-ish kind of a boutique amp cabinet. I've got a little bit of the room dialed in because the room is fun, just to warm it out a little bit. Sure. And I'm actually using the attenuator for what they put it on this earth to do. So I've actually got it, like, you know, backed off 1 step, which is a significant amount. Sure. If we were listening to this the step up from the last switch to the second to the last is like, it's pretty immense. So this amp's obviously, it's the master's, you know, running pretty hot for a 100-watt amp head. Yeah. So and I don't use any plexi, like, you know, I don't use the church class or whatever. But you know, the line out is all he's getting. You know, he's getting the line out going to the board front of house, left and right stereo, and you know, I don't think I have any of the effects in here, you know, that are usually on it. Yeah, I guess they have everything. It kind of has everything, but I don't think I'm using anything. I might be using a little bit of that 1176 compressor that is built in, because you know you can access this with an iPad or a laptop. Right. And so you can sit there and program all of your stuff into it, and it just saves automatically. That's great. And when all that time in the studio, you've had the time to really dial it in. So yeah, this is my setting I use in the studio 80% of the time, and that's what's going out the front of the house. And Joel was like, "Sounds great, don't change it." That's my front of house guy, Joel. So and you've got the cabinet just so you can kind of feel something on stage. Totally. And the Two-Rock 212 is amazing, and it's an open back cabinet. Oh, great. So it really breathes, and it's loud. But I like to, just an annoying thing I like to do is I like to duct tape over the cones. Yeah. Because you know, like there's a baffle in the middle of AC30s where they go right through the center of the cone on the 212s. And there's a reason why. Well, it disperses better, and it also, when you're sitting right in front of it with your ears, it's not just piercing your ears with that high frequency cone, you know. And I like my sound to be present. You know, it's not a real woolly sound; it's a bright kind of a present sound. And so covering the cone saves the first 5 rows. That's a great idea. Yeah, and also it just disperses a little bit, I feel like. Sure. I could be totally full of shit, but I feel like after 52 years and playing guitar for most of that it has helped me a lot. Where I'll get on, especially I don't like a cabinet, like I don't ever want my amp pointing up at my head, not with my sound. Sure. It would be very annoying. So it's actually very, it's very cool to have it just kind of tilted off axis. I can hear it. But it fills up the stage for everybody, so that so it feels like a rock band up here, not like we're all on ears with direct amps, you know. And kind of the way you work your feedback, it probably helps with all that. That is true too. Yeah. I'm constantly feeding back, which I like to do. Yeah. And I get to put in my monitors a little bit too, so that it's coming up at me a little bit. Yeah. For some reason, I like that sound a little bit better than I do the actual cabinet hitting me in the ear. Huh. So I keep the cabinet off access and then let that. But also, this is, what's getting fed to me is the aux sound. Right. So I've dialed that so it actually sounds like when it's coming out of my monitors up at me, it sounds like it does in the studio. right. I find that mic cabinets rarely sound right through monitors, but those auxes. Yeah, this actually does a good job. Mm-hmm. And man, when they came out with this, I heard about it. I was like, wonder why they're making a guitar attenuator. Yeah. That seems like they could do so much more than that. Right. And then when I saw a demo of Corey Congilio showed me, he was at NAMM being their like spokes guy for it. And I walked right up and saw it, and I was like, he played it, and I was like, that's I gotta have it. That's the best thing ever. So this thing has just been incredible, and I'm so glad I finally took it on the road. I've never taken it out of the studio.
Oh, well,
until now.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, now let's talk about, you've got just a modest pedal board. Let's kind of run through these.
Sure. So basically, straight into the old Boss chromatic tuner, which
standard of the industry.
I've got 7 of these things in a closet, and I was using one of the newer, fancier guys, and I was having problems where for some reason I would be, when my tuner was on and I'd be tuning, my amp would be going beep, burp, and be doing the weird digital thing. Yeah. So I switched it back out to the old trusty chromatic tuner, and there it is. And so,
you know what that means? On Reverb, after this airs, everybody's going to be buying those.
Is it a Generation 3?
Yeah, exactly.
Is it with a drip edge? I don't know.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I got to buy one now before this posts. Yeah.
And then the good old, this is just a good old JHS, you know, it's basically the orange squeeze.
Yeah.
And that's just amp, you know, this is just nothing. And I'll turn that on in conjunction with the drive too sometimes for solos, but this is a JHS signature pedal, and this is actually the prototype of the Ruby Red that I helped them kind of create.
Oh, very cool.
And it's basically it's a boost on one side, which is not working at the moment, but I don't use anyway. And that's why I pulled this one out, because I actually liked the drive on the prototype better than the ones they ended up selling.
Oh, really?
So I just sacrificed the second one for having this. And that's the... you know?
That's perfect.
And then here is a Conspiracy Theory Way Huge, which is sort of, they're one of many pedals that emulate the old, you know what?
Yeah.
And it's a little bit more transparent, not as gritty, but I like it for the telly.
Oh, it's
for some reason, and I use it a lot for the telly. This pedal is the MXR Super Badass that I actually got the day we left for tour.
Oh.
And in like a rush, I took my fuzz pedal off and put that on, and it's not a fuzz, but I loved it so much that I took it off and put it there, and it's just got a... It's so good. I was like, well, shit, I got to put that on the fucking pedal. So I put it on the pedal board, and there we are.
Put it on, never turn it off.
Never turn it off, yeah. And so then it goes from there up here to my reverbs and delays and stuff. And this is just the good old MXR verb, which is a beautiful, you know. So I use that a lot, especially when you put a dirt on it, it's going to... Right?
Yeah, that's great.
And then this is these are the new UA FX pedals, which are, I mean, I can't say enough about these two. They're so good. So this is, I got it set for, this is basically the Starlight is basically their, you want to call it their Echoplex pedal, right?
Oh,
so
cool.
I got this one set for a little slap.
Yeah, that's great.
And then you can go over here, hold this down, and then this is a preset one, which is kind of nice, which... So it's got a triplet thing happening, because you can set it for dotted, whatever. So I saved that preset, and then this is back to my my slap, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And then this one is the Astra, which is right now, I think, set for like a slow flange. And it's got like a swell in it. And then this is nice too, which I really love if you want to, this is set for a...
Yeah, that's dreamy.
It's cool, right?
Yeah.
So it does that like harmonic, like vibrato. I love it. And so again, that's a preset, and then that is one you can change on the fly.
And you're really only running 5 pedals. I mean, which is pretty modest.
Yeah, and I'm, you know, the only reason I've got the drives for 3 separate things is if I want to like go over the top.
Yeah.
Like when I want to solo and. to get really gnarly, I'll just put on 2.
Oh, yeah. Do you ever just turn everything on
Sure.
at the end of the night?
Yeah.
Just
Matter of fact, the last note of the last solo in the last song, it's just like
everything,
rake, and then I'm just like on the Explorer, and it's
sound man takes a 2x4, just turns everything up.
pretty much balloons fall. It's
Sure,
like how much more party can we get?
Structural damage to the building. Yeah, that's great. Well, Butch, man, such a pleasure to see you. Thanks so much. Love your work.
Thanks, man. Thank you. It was really good to see you again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, man. I'm really glad you guys. I love watching your show. So thanks for actually having me on it again. So.
Take it from this guy. Okay. Till next time.